So, hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to How Do You Find Your Way Back Home to Yourself with me, Amy Dave. And obviously, this is through Odyssey, the platform. And just to reiterate, this will be recorded for the people that are attending live and for anybody who watches it afterwards. I would love for this. This is an experiential experience. So for those that are here, there will be some opportunity for you to journal and feedback where I'll pause and you can feed back. And for those of you who are watching it at a later time, please take the time to pause and go through the exercises or questions. I feel like doing it in the moment while it's there means that you're going to commit to it. And I feel like that's really important. So, and if you have any questions, like I said, you can drop them in the chat. So here we go. So obviously I am Amy Dave. I am one of the practitioners on Odyssey, the platform. I'm a transformative psycho-spiritual therapist, a self-love, soul journey, intuitive coach, and a domestic abuse specialist therapist. And you can find all of the wonderful practitioners on Odyssey, the platform. Okay, so you know how I love quotes, and I always start with some form of quote. So for me, this week's fits in with the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And I truly feel like it's a privilege. And through my journey, I recognize how much more of a privilege it is knowing the whole soul journey and knowing that I chose this journey. And I've given myself the opportunity to be everything that I can fully be in this lifetime. So I feel like it's such an honor that we sometimes forget that actually I chose this for a reason. I chose this glorious vessel of mine for a very good reason. So actually, I wanted to take a moment before we go do anything else. I just wanted to, before we kind of speak about it, I wanted to take a minute, and I'm going to make them short because otherwise we start thinking with our mind, our brain too much. And I don't really want that. I want it to be a response from here. Just want you to take a moment before we start just to write down for you in this moment, what does coming home to yourself actually mean? Okay, so I just asked what coming home to you meant in this moment. And I think it's really important to kind of have those checkpoints and have those acknowledgements. So that is practice number one for me on this journey. It's really about keeping an eye on the progress you are making, because it's so easy to forget and it's so easy to just go, yeah, I'm just how I am now, but you don't see the journey and how far you've actually come and what you've actually had to go through to get to where you are. And there isn't enough acknowledgement of everything that you do. So one of the things I do with my clients is to get them to keep like a log of their accomplishments, the things that they've overcome, so that when they feel stuck or when they feel they're having one of those days where they just feel like they're going backwards, they can really just look at it and kind of be like, oh my God, this is how far I've come. Because as we know, there's no real going backwards. It doesn't happen. It's not possible. But I know that we all have times and days, and I know for me, sometimes it's weeks where I feel like I've forgotten everything and I've gone backwards. So to be able to look at the things that I've accomplished and I've overcome and I've stepped into is really, really helpful. Okay, so as we always do before moving forward, I just want to take a moment for us to close our eyes, ground, and get into this space. So I invite you to just close your eyes for a couple of moments and really allow yourself to arrive. Plant yourself in the space that you are in. And just find your breath. As you reconnect to the knowing that you are home. Connect to the beautiful vessel that is your home for this journey. Just allow your breath to flow through your body and just notice it. Allow your mind to clear. Feel into your body and any spaces or places that might just need releasing. What can you let go of? Focus in on your heart, your home for this journey. Allow yourself to open your heart so that you may receive all the goodness that is coming your way. Just take a moment to remind yourself that you are home. And at any given moment, you have the capacity to come back home to yourself. To bring your focus back to your breath, the space that you are in. Gently open your eyes when you are ready. Okay, what do you see? You can put it in the chat box, just like, what do you see? And the people at home that are watching this, just make a note of what it is that you see here. Just simply, what is in front of you? What do we see? I love that. Love that. Love that. Love inner ceiling. Brilliant. Okay. So yes, there is one answer that I love. I just absolutely love it. Just the creativity of it is beautiful. Essentially, yes, rectangles. But I'm going to ask you to look again now and tell me if you can see the circles. Once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. Got it? Brilliant. Yeah, just put a thumbs up if you see it. Okay, I'm going to give you a clue. Look in between the lines. Right there. Can you see it now? All right. On every I don't know if you can see the cursor, but on every, well, I can't even point at the screen, but in between each one where the lines are, there are circles on every single one. Yeah. And I guess for me, this is like such a great representation of perspective and perception and what we see and what we choose to see in life. Because we have our own perspective of everything and we create our own perceptions of everything. And sometimes we don't look any further than that. So we can get totally stuck in this idea of there's only a box. But there can be so much more than that. And it's really about taking the time to slow down and look again and again and again. Okay. And there is no, like, for me, if I could really simplify this, honestly, every single workshop would very much be about this. Because for me, the entire thing is about your awareness, all of it, whichever angle you look at it, whichever, I don't know, modality, wherever you want to look at it from, the human perspective, from the soul perspective, psychologically, spiritually, wherever you look at it from, every single thing is about whichever word you want to use, consciousness, presence, awareness, here and now. And I know for me, my life has fundamentally shifted because the one thing that I've been ingraining over and over and over again for the last 19 years of my life is awareness. Because now I have in the moment awareness, like present awareness. I'm aware of what I'm thinking. I'm aware of what I'm feeling. I can change the thought. I can change the feeling. And I have a really quick perception of, okay, this is what's going on. Because I don't watch my life from here. I watch my life from here. And if anybody was at I know some of you were at the meditation yesterday, we spoke about the vulture and the eagle. And it's really, for me, I see a hawk all of the time. That is one of my animals, spirit animals. I see it all of the time. And for me, it very much is a reminder to look at life from here rather than getting stuck in the humanness of everything. Okay, so the practice every day, if you can show up every single day, and honestly, it's a practice. I've been doing it for 19 years. I do it every single day. It's literally a reminder on a daily basis to watch yourself as the observer, because that's what you really are, right? Because if I ask you, what are you thinking right now? You'll be able to tell me. So you can't just be the person that's having the thought. You're also the person that can see it. Okay. And it deeply, deeply, deeply runs through the core of everything. It is truly the missing link, because that's the bit that people miss when they aren't experiencing the changes they wish to see in their life. It's like, how are you thinking about that thing? How are you feeling about that thing? And in the moment you can change it, but deeply, on a deeper level, much, much deeper level, you're carrying this narrative about yourself all of the time, and you act according to that narrative that you've created, right? At the deepest levels. And I know that when we sit in spaces like this, because I know when I sit in like workshops or sessions or whatever, it's like I can become present, but I'm also deeply aware of the much deeper narrative. Like, I'm going to be really honest, I sat here at like 6:30ish, there was no one here. And my instant response, the trigger response, and we have our triggers, and like, rather than being afraid of our triggers and thinking we shouldn't have them, like, use your triggers. They're your beautiful little reminders. This is where the healing is. This is where there's still stuff to be done. This is where you need to look at stuff. So I love my triggers. Like, your triggers are there for a reason. They're the things that deepen your healing, deepen your ability to see yourself in a way that you don't. So instantly my awareness was like, oh, you know where you're going with this. You're being the little child. The little child is triggered. Nobody cares. Nobody loves me. I'm not seeing all of that, right? And then I can be honest with it, right? And it's not a thing anymore. It dissolves, rather than me then acting it out all over the place. Okay? Watch yourself. Honestly, watch yourself. Like, this is one of the deepest things I work with all of the time with my clients. Like, for me, it's so important, is the center. I don't know, it's a core, it's a foundation, it's the central thing, right? Because it's like you behave in a certain way because of a narrative. You behave, you feel certain things, you think certain things, but those thoughts are mostly coming from your past. You're just being who you're being again and again. It's like Groundhog Day, same thing over and over, over and over, over and over and over and over again, right? And I will keep coming back to this because to me, it's like without that, there is nothing. So to find your way back home to yourself, firstly, you need to know who myself is. Who is myself? Who are you? Because how do you come back home to something you've got no idea, right? And most of us have become a response or reaction to everything we've experienced in our life and the people around us and the circumstances that we're in. That's what we become, right? That's what I was when I started my journey way back when. And that's where I kind of find my clients are at when I first start seeing them. We are constantly becoming a response or a reaction to everything else. And that's why we lose the essence of who we are, because they're the obstacles. So for me, in terms of my definition of coming back home to yourself, for me, coming back home to myself was removing all of the obstacles that stood between me and my true self. So all of the things that pushed me further and further away, further and further away, further and further away from the essence of me. So when I think of coming back home, I think of what needs to happen. There's nothing new as such because you've got all the information in here. But what you can do for yourself in terms of removing those blocks is understanding that this is a process of subtraction. It's about taking things away that are not serving you. It's about taking all those obstacles, the armor, the protection. I've got one of those lovely little dolls that Al uses. So it's literally that you've built up these layers of armor, right? Through everything you've been through. So then you've got this layer here. And that's the mask. For me, that very first layer is your mask. So what is your mask? What is the self that you show to the world? I'm going to give you about a minute or so just to very quickly scribble some stuff down and pause the recording. And for everybody at home, take that moment. Just take a minute. Just write it down. What is that mask? So the next question for you is, what is home? So I'm going to give you, again, a couple of minutes, well, actually a minute, just to kind of cogitate, well, not really cogitate. I'd like you to feel it from your heart. What is home? Because obviously coming back home to ourselves, the idea of home in itself, what does that represent for you? For me, it was really interesting, this concept of coming back home to myself, because I always thought home was outside of me and it was always unsafe, unreliable, not secure. And I thought I had to find it somewhere else. So what is home to you? What does it mean? Okay. So one of the bigger things for me was this, right? I was searching all my life. I have looked for safety, security, stability, comfort. And I have searched outside of myself, outside of myself, outside of myself. And I thought that literally a physical home could get me that. And it couldn't. Okay, so it was when I took that journey back home to me, when I started taking those obstacles away and realizing that I have to create that creation of safety, security, serenity. I don't even remember what else I said, but that is in me, because it doesn't matter where you are. You could be anywhere. But if you can find those things in you and embody them, then you can always come back to that space, no matter where you are externally. It's the internal part of you, that space that you create inside you when you come back home to yourself, that you instantly know. It doesn't matter if everything's chaotic or everything's falling apart around me. As soon as I turn around and come back to me, I'm safe, I'm secure, I'm comforted, I'm stable. And it's a knowing. Like, I know with such gravity, I can't think of the word, other word right now, but I know in such depth that that's in me, that no matter what happens outside of me, it cannot and will not destabilize that, because nobody can take that away. And for me, that's home. Nobody can take that away from me, and nobody can take it away from you. You got to take the obstacles away, though, that stand between you and that home inside of you. Let's get that one. Okay, so like I reiterated before, they're the most powerful words that we speak. Okay, like, and for me, like, what I'm challenging you, people that are here live, people that are watching it later, I'm challenging you to take a week or so to really listen to how you speak about yourself, the words that you use most internally. Really write those words down, the repetition, the way you speak to yourself, the tone that you're using with yourself, because you are instantly and constantly creating as soon as you say those words, especially the ones that come after I am procrastinating, I am, and it's like literally you're creating that little magic spell's gone into you. Now I'm a procrastinator, this is what I am, right? So change those words. Like, I used to say, I was horrible to myself, I'm not gonna lie. And when I realized it, and when I became, again, conscious, bringing that awareness, like really want to know about you. That's what this journey back home to yourself is. I am so curious about who I am and understanding why I'm here and the very essence of me, because I love myself enough to do so, right? But what are the deep things that you constantly keep saying to yourself? So when you're telling yourself that I need to put other people ahead of me, what you're effectively saying is I'm not as worthy as other people, or I'm not as important as other people. I don't matter as much as other people. How other people see me is more important than how I see myself. What I do for other people is more important than what I do for me. And then you lose yourself. And that's why those obstacles are created, because then effectively what you are searching for is your worth, your validation, the love from outside of you. But if it comes from outside of you, you're not going to believe it if you don't give it to yourself. Because how can you? How can I feel worthy when I'm telling myself that I'm not worthy, but then somebody else is telling me outside of me that I am? I'm not going to believe it, because I don't believe it. So it's an everyday thing. You are talking to yourself constantly through the way you treat yourself, through the way that you think about yourself. So I'm going to ask you to start creating a I am list. Okay, I find a lovely page somewhere, a space, and I want you to go and write down the words that you know you deeply are. I want you to go and write down what you want to experience in yourself. And remind yourself that your words are spells. And as it's 7:15 now, I'm going to do this bit. Okay, so coming back home to yourself made a lot more sense to me when I recognized that there's a human journey and there's a soul journey. Okay, because like before that, it just like made very little sense to me. So if you see your life from the two perspectives, so we have our human journey, this vessel of mine, and this is my premise of how this works. I have this vessel. I chose Amy Dave as my vessel for this journey. And she's been through countless things. I have experienced so many different things. And when I only had the human perspective, it was very narrow. It was like, that's all I could see was these. I'm just keep going through all of these things and they make not a lot of sense to me because I've got no understanding as to why any of this stuff is happening. So the only thing that I could do was then blame it on myself and kind of think, well, life hates me in some way, shape, or form. Okay. And the thing is, have a play with this and again reflect on this, because what difference does it make if you then tell yourself that actually what's going on for me right now is I'm having a human experience. Okay, my soul has chosen this human experience. An experience is just an experience. There is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong, there is no should or shouldn't. Essentially, the human experience is meaningless until you decide how you're going to label it, what you're going to attach to it, what meaning it has, what meaning you have. So I use this all of the time. When things are happening outside of me, when things are happening within me, I am very, very conscious of this is my human experience. So this is happening for a reason, and I can label this however I wish to. But it's me having my human experience, and anything else above that, I am adding to that. Because this is my soul journey. This vessel is allowing me to have this human experience. So I can change the meaning of anything whenever I want to. So I would love for you to take that opportunity. So that is another one of the things that I want you to go away and really kind of allow yourself to experience. When you're in a situation that is difficult or challenging or feels a little bit overwhelming, I want you to take a moment to remind yourself, okay, this is me having a human experience. I can label this anything I want. What would I like to label it? And then you start to really see that you've been doing that all your life. All your life, you've been creating meaning out of your human experience. Because I am sure there are things in your life where you've changed your understanding of it, right? Otherwise, the understanding of things would never change. So really play with that, because that is you coming back home to yourself. That literally will free you up to kind of think, okay, this is a human experience. And it's like we take it so seriously. But in any given moment, I can remind myself, you can remind yourself that this is a human experience. My vessel's having an experience, and it means absolutely nothing until I give it meaning. And that is one to really sit with, to really try and embody, play with it. And for me, all of the concepts, all of the ideas, everything you hear, play with it, question it, work with it. Okay. And then you have your soul journey, this beautiful energy of love that you are, that has chosen to come and have this experience and expansion so that you can grow your consciousness and have this experience. And it changes everything when you marry the two things together. It's like this experience that I'm having as Amy Dave is 2 or 3 minutes in the entirety of my soul's journey. Think about that, like deeply think about that at some point. This journey is 2 to 3 minutes in the entirety of what my soul is going to experience. Because that really changed things for me. I was like, whoa, okay, right. I need to change how I'm looking at this experience. I need to free my human up a little bit. Because we just get lost in that emotion and the thinking and the thoughts and all of this. And I'm going to quickly try and experiment with you as well in terms of thinking, okay? Just close your eyes for 1 minute, 1 moment. And whatever thoughts are there, just allow them to come and be and whatever. Just take 1 breath in and out. And now ask yourself the question, I wonder what my next thought is going to be. And see what happens. And pop it in the chat. What happened? Pop it in the chat. I love this because I know what happens. Right, right. Isn't that amazing? Was it the same for everybody? There's nothing, right? You ask yourself that question again and again, again and again, again and again, right? I wonder what my next thought will be. I wonder what my next thought will be. I wonder what my next thought will be. Because that's when nothing happens. It's like, oh, okay. There's no thought. There's no thought. And yes, sometimes I cannot tell you how anxious I feel when, like, at the beginning, when it actually stopped. I felt so anxious because I so wasn't used to it, where there's nothing. I was just like, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to the feeling of stillness, quietness, of nothing just going on all of the time. And so then we create the drama again, and we create the narrative again, right? And that's the thing. Having a different experience does cause anxiety sometimes because we're not used to it. So then we fall back into reliving the same thing again and again because we're so used to the noise. We're so used to those thoughts. So that's what it feels like, right? That's what it felt like for me. When the noise started to stop, I was just like, oh my God, what is happening? This doesn't feel, I don't recognize this. And so I would feel anxious. And those are the obstacles, right, that we have that get in our own way. So take the higher perspective, zoom out, okay? Your soul, as we know, is much bigger than this vessel that we inhabit, whichever word. And it's like, for me, it's really about, I spend my life in two different ways. Here, and I'm over here somewhere. Because I watch myself from this space, because I can. Then I don't get lost in just the human emotion and thinking. And it's like, come out of yourself and watch yourself. Be curious. Play with this. Do it at a fun time for the first experience, right? Just watch yourself interacting in a fun thing, or when you're interacting with a friend. Like, really watch yourself. Step out, because you can do it. And that's kind of how I spend my life, in and out. Like, most of the time, out. Because I'm watching myself in scenarios. Right? So I can really see and understand, who am I being? And is it really serving me? Because often it's not serving us. But until we watch it, we don't know. And then you will realize that you have control. You are able to, in any given moment, stop and choose a different response. And that's what coming home to yourself really is. It's that knowingness that nothing outside of you has any control over what you think, what you feel, and the actions that you take. But we need to slow down enough to go in and to see from here, right? And to slow down, because you don't have to react to everything straight away. Take a moment, breathe, take a step back, and ask yourself, what would be the most loving thing for me to do in this moment? But fly above, like, really play with this. And for the people that are watching it live, and for the people that are watching it after, like, come and feedback, because for me, it's about the accountability, the doing of all of these things, the being of all of these things, rather than just the knowing, is about holding yourself accountable and going, yeah, I tried this and this is what's happened. Right? Because otherwise we don't. It's like, yeah, okay, I know that. But try it, really, really try it. Come out of yourself. And you can do that in meditation too. In meditation, you can step back, right, out of yourself, and you can watch yourself in that meditation space. So it's the same thing. And I guess I would like to kind of end on this, but I think I need to make another part to this. But how do you look after the garden of your mind? So I see our mind like a garden. And it's like every thought that you have, you're planting a seed. Boop, 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 boop. Right? So every thought that's not serving you, that's negative, that's painful, that's overwhelming, that you're allowing yourself to just recycle is like weeds just taking over your garden, and they take over everything. But you get a choice, and that's the thing. If you're watching yourself, you will really notice that your thoughts are literally just, we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. But we stick with the same ones again and again and again and again, and we don't give ourselves the room to see anything else. Because I guarantee you, you're stuck in a loop of a few thousand of those thoughts, the same ones, because they serve a purpose. Because they keep you where you are, they keep you in your current narrative. And that serves a purpose for you. So it's about removing all of these things that you believe. And that's the other thing. It's a belief that these things stop me. But that awareness will allow you to see it and allow you to go, oh, okay, I'm going to make a conscious decision. Do I need to go this way or this way? What feels good to me? And that's the other thing for you. It's like you are here one time as the person that you are. As the human being that you are, you have this one opportunity, and you chose to be the person that you are. Like, really embody that. I chose Amy Dave. Why? Why did I choose her? What for? And also, like, the people that are sitting here and the people that are watching, I'm going to put to you, you chose to wake up this time. You chose this human being to have the awakening journey in. I mean, hello, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. So why did you choose that? For what purpose? I journal on that on a daily basis for a few moments at a time, at a time to really embody that. Like, how amazing is it that you chose this vessel, this person, this time, a time of mass awakening, a time of complete change, because you know that there are people that chose not to. And you chose this person to have that journey with. It's for a reason. So I guess I would say to you, the biggest obstacle is you. Right? Get out of your way. Give yourself a chance, beautiful soul. And daily practices, before I go. Okay, things that can help. And these things are, the top one is in bold, it's in capital letters: awareness, 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 just awareness again and again. And if you want to learn further tips or anything like that around how you can bring that awareness into your everyday, message me, whatever. I'd be happy to kind of share some more around that. But awareness is everything. And for me, all of the things that are written underneath it, they enhance our awareness, right? If I wake up in the morning and I acknowledge myself and I'm like, hey, good morning, Amy, happy Tuesday, how are you today? Instantly, awareness is there. Awareness of me, that I exist. Because how often do you acknowledge your existence on a daily basis? All right? Connect, and reminders everywhere. Put them everywhere so it doesn't become a case of, I know this, but I don't do it. I know this, but I don't do it. I know this, but I don't do it. Because I've gathered so much information throughout my life. But there's certain things that resonate. There's certain things that I am truly, self-responsibility is the thing, right? Self-responsibility is everything. So choose a few things that you're really going to do rather than a million things that you're going to get fed up of doing. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. So I'm going to stop it at that point and just say thank you very, very much. I'm going to stop the recording at this point. So anybody that's watching, thank you for that. and for being here. And like I said, if there's anything that you'd like to ask or get clarification on, please contact me.